Hello students, good morning. Today we are going to learn the second chapter from Flamingo, Lost Spring, Stories of Stolen Childhood. In this, Anis Jung has described the stories of our interaction with children from deprived background. She describes their poor condition and life in an interesting manner. The story touches the reader and is thought-provoking. So we start the first story, that is, sometimes I find a rupee in the garbage. Why do you do this? I asked Sahib, whom I encounter every morning scrounging from gold in the garbage dumps of my neighborhood. Sahib left his home long ago, set amidst the green fields of Dhaka. His home is not even a distant memory. There were many storms that swept away their fields and homes. His mother tells him that's why they left looking for gold in the big city where he now lives. I have nothing else to do, he mutters, looking away. Go to school, I say glibly, realizing immediately how hollow the advice must sound. So here, Sahib is the main character, and he was living in Dhaka. He left Dhaka because there were many storms which swept away their fields and home. So they left Dhaka because of poverty and they came to India in 1971. And now they are living in Delhi in Simapuri area. So all these things his mother had told him. And now the author asked him that why are you not going to school? And now we go on second page. There is no school in my neighborhood. When they build one, I will go. So here Sahib says that there is no school in his neighborhood, and when there will be school, he will go. If I start a school, will you come? I ask, half joking. Yes, he says, smiling broadly. So I ask him, if I build a school, if he will come? Then he says, yes. A few days later, I see him running up to me. Is your school ready? It takes longer to build a school, I say, embarrassed at having made a promise that was not meant. But promises like mine abound in every corner of his bleak world. So after some days, when Sahib sees me, he comes to me and asks me that if I have made a school, if I have built a school. But I replied him that it took longer days to build a school. And I was embarrassed. Embarrassed means perplexed. I was perplexed that I made a promise, but that was not meant for me. But my promise is having some meaning to this boy like Sahib. After months of knowing him, I asked him his name. Sahib-e-Alam, he announces. He does not know what it means. If he knew its meaning, Lord of the Universe, he would have a hard time believing it. Unaware of what his name represents, he roams the street with his friends, an army of barefoot boys who appear like the morning birds and disappear at noon. Over the months, I have come to recognize each of them. So after some months, the author was meeting those children, and after that, after some days, he asked the name of this boy. The boy said that his name is Sahib-e-Alam. Sahib-e-Alam means the universe or the Lord of universe. But this boy was not knowing the meaning of his name. And though his name represents the Lord of universe, he was not the Lord of universe. He was doing the work of gathering the dump. He was finding out, he was searching coin and rupees in the dump. And after meeting them every day, the author has come to know everyone who were moving to gather the dump. Why aren't you wearing champals? I asked one. My mother did not bring them down from the shelf. He answers simply. The author asked one of the boy why they were not wearing the champals. The boy said that they are having champals, but mother is not getting them down from the shelf. Even if she did, he will throw them off, adds another who is wearing shoes that do not match. One boy who was standing there said that if his mother is giving him the champal, then also the boy is not going to wear it. He will throw it out. And the boy who said this had worn the shoes, but they were not matching. They were not matching means odd even shoes. Odd even shoes means they were not pairing with each other. When I comment on it, he shuffles his feet and says nothing. And when I said him that your shoes are not matching with each other, at that time the boy shuffles his feet. Shuffles means moves with. He moves his feet and said nothing. I want shoes, says the third boy, who has never owned a pair of his life. One of the boy who was not having shoes, he told the author that he wanted shoes. Traveling across the country, I have seen children walking barefoot in cities, on village roads. It is not lack of money, but a tradition to stay barefoot is one explanation. I wonder if this is not an excuse to explain away a perpetual state of poverty. What he says? What the author says, that children were not having the shoes or champals. They were having, but it was perhaps a tradition in their poverty that they should not wear champals or shoes. And she says that I wonder if this is not an excuse to explain away a perpetual state of poverty. Perpetual means everlasting. This is only an excuse to explain away a perpetual state of poverty, that they wanted to show that they are poor. I remember a story a man from Udupi once told me. As a young boy, he would go to school past an old temple where his father was a priest. She remembers the story from Udupi. And there was a boy who was going to the temple. Past here means near, whose school was near the temple, and his father was the priest of that temple. He would stop briefly at the temple and pray for a pair of shoes. Why was he going to the temple? Because he wanted the shoes, and for that he was going to the temple. 30 years later, I visited his town and the temple, which was now drowned in an air of desolation. In the backyard where lived the new priest, there were red and white plastic chairs. A young boy dressed in a grey uniform, wearing socks and shoes, arrived panting and threw his school bag on a folding bed. Here, after 30 years, she has again visited that temple where the boy was praying to the god for the pair of shoes. Here, when she comes, at the time she sees that there is new priest there. The temple is in desolation. Desolation means forsaken. Nobody was visiting this temple. Not many people were visiting this temple. And when she comes here, at that time she sees a boy who is wearing the school uniform, socks and shoes. And he has come from the school panting. Panting means breathing very fast. He has come from the school. He threw his bag on the bed and he has gone for playing. Looking at the boy, I remembered the prayer another boy had made to the goddess when he had finally got a pair of shoes. Let me never lose them. The goddess had granted his prayer. Young boys like the son of the priest now wore shoes, but many others like the rag pickers in my neighborhood remained shoeless. The God had heard the prayer of that boy, and the God had given him the pair of shoes. And after getting the pair of shoes, that boy had said to the God that he would not lose this pair of shoes. Now at present, after 30 years, the priest's son is having the shoes, but the rag pickers like Sahib are not having the shoes. My acquaintance with the barefoot rag pickers leads me to Simapuri, a place on the periphery of Delhi, yet miles away from it metaphorically. Those who live here are squatters who came from Bangladesh back in 1971. Sahib's family is among them. So here in my acquaintance means familiarity. My familiarity with the barefoot rag pickers led me to Simapuri. So I had gone to Simapuri and I have seen there the people from Bangladesh who had come in 1971 were living there. At that time in 1971 here in Simapuri it was a big ground and they began to live in this big ground, and now they have built a house, but these houses are made of mud. And Sahib's family had also come there in 1971 and they are living from that time. It is still, but it is no longer empty. In structure of mud with roofs of tin and tarpaulin, devoid of sewage, drainage or running water, like the 10,000 rag pickers. Here in Simapuri, 10,000 rag pickers are living. Their house is made of mud. There is no drainage. The water is running. They have lived here for more than 30 years without any identity, without permits, but with ration card they get their names on voters list and enable them to buy grains. But they are having ration card to buy grains. Why they are having ration card? How they have got the ration card? Because in election perhaps some of the party members might have given them ration card to get their votes, and that's why they are without any identity. They are called refugee, and yet they are given the identity and they are having the ration card. They have lived here for more than 30 years without any identity, without permits, but with ration cards they get their names on voters list and enable them to buy grain. Food is more important for survival than an identity. Remember this, student. Food is more important for survival than identity. They did not want identity. They want survival for themselves, and for that they want food. If at the end of the day we can feed our families and go to bed without an aching stomach, better live here than in the field that gave us no grain, say a group of women in tattered saris. So she talked with the women of that Simapuri area, and they said that we are getting here the grains, so we have not to go to sleep with empty stomach. So it is good here that we are here. Say a group of women in tattered saris. When I asked them why they left their beautiful land of green fields and rivers, wherever they find food, they pitch their tent that become transit home. Pitch means set. Pitch means set. So wherever they find food, wherever these rag pickers find food, they build their home. Children grow up in them becoming partner in survival. And survival in Simapuri means rag picking. Though the years it had acquired Through the years, it has acquired the proportion of a fine art. Garbage to them is gold. It is their daily bread, a roof over their head, even if it is a leaking roof. But for a child, it is even more. So for in Simapuri, this garbage has become the gold for them because it is giving them food. Dear students, the remaining part of this chapter will be in our second lecture.